Hello, and welcome to another Wednesday edition of Spiritualism and Fire. And tonight I want to talk about twin flames. And I do not, in any way, shape, or form, from the research I have done, believe in twin flames. And I have heard of people going on twin flame journeys, so on and so forth. This is not a concept that I subscribe to. When I looked up what the actual definition is, even the definition is kind of ridiculous. They describe it as an intense soul connection, often described as the other half of one's soul that is split into two bodies. So, if the whole point of healing and releasing trauma and doing all of this is to become whole within yourself. Not only that, who I was even 2 weeks ago is different than who I am today. So your twin flame, if it's your other half, it's your other half in all of your traits, both negative and positive. But if you are growing, there is no way that you can have another half. And once again, what's the point of doing all of this healing and all of this work on ourselves if somewhere out there is a missing piece? I did read that the twin flame doesn't necessarily need to be like a romantic connection. It could be a friendship, whatever. But it goes back to, it is your missing half. Well, I'm not missing half. I'm not. I am a whole human being. Not only that, if I were to find my missing half that is a reflection of myself, both good and bad, I'm not sure if I would even embrace that person, because like I said, who I was even 2 weeks ago is not who I am today. Who I was 20 years ago was an awful human being, and I wouldn't even want to meet that person. So if your twin flame is your missing piece, does that mean that they are on the same healing trajectory that you were on? Because that's the only way that they could continue to mirror you. With each change you make, they would have to make that same change. So, like I said, even looking it up it doesn't make any sense. They're considered to be rare, and most people never find their twin flame. Well, probably because I don't believe that it exists. I did try to get, one of the things that I did click on, because I was just curious, was how do you recognize your twin flame? And so ridiculous, my pen actually ran out of ink. But basically it says that you feel that you know them and that you consider them to be like your missing piece. Well, I am an introvert, but I have a lot of extroverted people that I know, and every extroverted person that I know feels this with everybody that they meet. As an introvert, it takes me so long to open up to somebody that, first of all, they're not going to be in my circle if there's not some level of trust to begin with. But you could have a deep knowing with somebody just because you've been through similar traumas or anything like that. I think the term twin flame is actually kind of a dangerous term to really throw around, because I believe that if you are in a fragile state or feeling low or anything else like that, this puts you in a position to be highly taken advantage of, because basically you're acknowledging that you are not a whole person, that you are not whole on your own, that there is this other half of you somewhere out there. And, I've been in abusive relationships and things of that nature, and I could just see this as like a way to kind of weasel themselves into your life at a low point. So I'm just twin flame, no, 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 I can't do it. So that's all I really have for today. I just the research alone, like I said, was just redundancy that makes no sense. You have a twin flame, you're probably not going to meet him. If you do, it's rare. And how do you know? It's because you feel like you already know him. Well, no. No, no, no. So just because this is how I feel about this, if you feel differently, please put in the comments why you feel differently, and let's have conversations about this. I think terms like soulmates, twin flames, soul contracts, karmic contracts, I think all of these terms can be used in a very dangerous kind of way, especially with people who are having issues with self-esteem or self-confidence or something along those lines. Any type of mental illness, honestly. Even if it's not mental illness, if you're just, you just got out of a relationship and you're feeling kind of bad about yourself, and all of a sudden, oh, I am your twin flame, I am your other half. And that's one thing that psychopaths do, is they mirror behavior. Same thing with narcissists. Until they reel you in, they mirror your behavior, because they essentially only know how to behave on a surface level. And now you have a term that says that they are your mirror, both in negative and positive qualities. So maybe I'm way off. Like I said, please put it in the comments if you see this differently and why. And let's absolutely have a conversation about this. This is more alarming to me than any of the other elements that I have been researching to date. So, like I said, I'm not saying I am right. Believe me, I'm not. Everyone is entitled to their own beliefs. So let's just talk about it. Let's have a conversation about this. So that's what I have for today. I appreciate you very much. I would appreciate any likes, subscribes, any comments whatsoever. Let's have these discussions and try to bring education into terms, especially terms like these that are very abstract. So thank you very much, and I will see you next Wednesday. Much love.